But we're going to start with Arsenal. They take on Bayern Munich in their Champions League quarter-final. First leg, obviously, is live on talkSPORT tonight. But does anyone want to apologise to this man?
Pulling it back into the area this time. Kai Havertz is there.
They put a lot of pressure on him, but he's delivered. You can see what he offers to the team and what he does every game.
He's a player, very, very intelligent, very clever.
It tells about his character as well and how he has dealt with all those question marks.
We're talking Kai Havertz, you can as well, 03717223344. I'll be the first to admit, and I'm not saying yet that I was wrong, but I'll be the first to admit that when he started when Arsenal signed him for around about £65 million, I was one of those, what a waste of money. He started off really poorly, and I was like, I told you. I'm not going to say I've been proved wrong, or maybe I have been proved wrong. He's got 10 goals and 5 assists so far this season. He now starts for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And when I'm struggling to say I was wrong, maybe I was wrong, but when I watch him play now, I do think he's so important to Arsenal. I don't really know where his best position is. I know he plays as a sort of false number 9, but he seems to be so important to Arsenal when they're attacking, for that little link up between just outside the penalty area and just getting into it. And he draws defenders towards him and creates space for other players. So although he's not prolific, although 10 goals and 5 assists suggests I'm wrong again, I do think there's a lot of people, maybe me included, that have got it wrong. And I don't know if he's proved his worth yet at 65, but he looks like an Arsenal player now, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. And I was on the same boat as you, thinking that 65 million was absolutely a waste of money. They need a goal scorer, a striker. They could have spent better money out there. But what he gives Arsenal now he's settled in. And like we said, that movement around the box, getting other players, link up players, getting players running in on behind him. It's like gold dust. And I think the late goals that he scored 2 late goals against Brentford to win them the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6 points. That's bought them 6 points. And that, you take away 6 points now, there will be, they'll be
out of the running.
Out of the running. So that alone is worth millions. To say where they are now. And every game you watch now, he's one of the focal points. He comes in late, scores against Brighton, makes it 2-0. That kills the game dead. He's just now coming to his own. And what Arteta's seen in Havertz, we obviously couldn't and didn't. And all that those fruits are coming to labours now.
Do you think that we hadn't seen that before because he was being played out of position? Because no one really knew, when Arsenal signed him, no one really knew where he was best, because he played all over the place. He was playing completely differently in Germany. He's playing down the middle in Germany, and then Chelsea bought him. They played him in so many positions to maybe try and find the player that they saw in Germany. But I just wonder now with Arsenal and Arteta if that false number 9 is his best position on the pitch.
I think it is, and I think that was one of the arguments. What's his best positions? Well, he's played in an 8, he's played in a 9 and a 4. But I think this position here is his best position. I think he's old at play is good.
Mm-hmm.
He can play as a strong striker. He's scoring goals. He can head, and that's what Arsenal have missed in that aerial the compatible of that side of the game. They never had someone who could dominate in the air like a striker. Jesus was small. Havertz is doing that now, and it gives you a lot more adversity going forward as well. So I think that false 9 is his best position, and I think he's a starter all the time.
I think as well, there's we were talking about this earlier, there's a video going about on YouTube of just on him against Brighton, and you can watch his movement, and he's pulling centre-halves out the way, and he's creating space for other Arsenal players to get into. I just wonder, now he's playing down the middle, and that's obviously predominantly where Jesus plays, but he's playing out wide because Martinelli's been injured. When everyone is fit for Arsenal, do you think now he starts?
Yeah.
And if so, where?
I think he's starting in this position that he's playing in. His numbers so far are suggesting that 10 goals and 5 assists in his how many games, and I think he's a better fit there than Jesus is. I think Jesus is he's good on the ball, on coming off the left, coming off the right, but as a focal point to hold up that ball and keep that ball, I think Havertz does it better.
Arsenal seem to be scoring from all areas of the pitch. When you look at that as a player that's either part of the team or a pundit looking in, there's 2 ways to assess it. You can say, well, hold on, they don't have a prolific number 9 that's scoring 20, 25 goals a season, so that's bad. so they're relying on other players to score. Or you look at it and go, well, actually, the fact that everyone's chipping in means they're more of a team. Do both work? Or predominantly as a football fan or even a player, do you look for your number 9 to get the goals?
They both do work, but it depends on what kind of number 9 you've got. Like if you look at Man City, sometimes they won the league without a striker. So you don't actually need a prolific goal scorer. If you've got someone who's a number 9 who can link up with your midfielders, bring in an assist, and they all gel together, then that's just as good as having a guy who's going to score you 20 goals. And I think right now, Havertz is bringing that into Arsenal, into giving other people, like you saw against Luton, the assist for Odegaard. He's gotten more to his game now. It doesn't have to be just scoring and hold up. He's, like I said, he's bringing in midfielders, he's bringing in the wide men, he's linking up play, is great. And as a system, that front four is working great. And you don't need to then now go and, right, we need a 15-goal striker, because what's working, what they've got going is working really well.
Yeah.
Hence why they're top of the league.
Massive night of football. We'll talk Championship later on, and we'll get team news for all the games, including Championship as well. But we're going to focus, as you would imagine, on 2 big games. Man City take on Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. We'll talk about that a bit later on. We'll talk about Arsenal. They're in action against Bayern Munich tonight. Kai Havertz is our main focus to kick things off today. If you'd like to talk about him, maybe phone up and say, I told you, or maybe apologise to Kai. We know he listens. Or just talk about Arsenal, you can. That's how we begin. 0371 722 3344. Dial that number. You'll be next live on Drive with me, Andy Goldstein. Jermaine Pennant is my wingman today.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.